So what about fats? Lipids is really the proper term. All lipids are fats, not all fats are lipids. So cholesterol is actually a lipid, but technically it's not a fat. Ask me about that later, it's not very interesting. All fats are about 9 calories per gram, or at least all of those that we eat. Now, I talk about that very first because I want you to bear this in mind when you're thinking about your food choices. Fatty foods yield so many calories from so little food. I mean, think about 100 calories versus cheddar cheese, 100 calories of cheddar cheese versus 100 calories of iceberg lettuce. Picture them both on this table right now. What's going to take up more space? The lettuce, by far. 100 calories of cheddar cheese is about an ounce, ounce and a half, depending on the manufacturer and how much they decided to lie. 100 calories of iceberg lettuce is seriously 3.5 heads. That's a salad bar, all by its lonesome. But they're both 100 calories. Which one are you going to have to chew more? The lettuce, absolutely. Which one's going to take up more space in your stomach? Which one's going to keep you full longer? Lettuce. The cheese might keep your brain satisfied longer, but the lettuce will definitely keep your stomach full longer. All right, so I want you to think about that with your fat sources. If I'm going to have fat in this meal, which I absolutely encourage you to do, how long is this source of fat going to keep me satisfied? What is its contribution to my energy in and my energy out? Is it going to keep me satisfied long enough? Is it going to satisfy my brain long enough? Is it going to keep my cravings under control? So, and you can read this while I talk about this, because the rest of that's not terribly important right now. I'll give you a couple of examples for me. I stopped eating cheese on or in anything. I still eat cheese, love cheese. But it's still about 9 calories per gram. Depending on the kind of cheese, maybe there's some other calories in there too, because not all cheese is just fat. If it was, it would just be like olive oil. I stopped eating it on or in anything because I really like it. But at 9 calories per gram, I want to taste it. I want to get full satisfaction from my cheese calories. So it's a side dish for me. Man, I love it. And I don't have nearly as much, and I get that satisfaction. Whereas, you know, if you put it on a sandwich, I never could taste it on the sandwich. What's the point of having it there? Except a grilled cheese, that's a different animal. I think we'd all agree with that. Bacon too. I actually really like bacon. I grew up in a southern farm family, if you can allow, since we're in Oregon, call Oklahoma the South. They don't like that. They don't like being included as part of the South, but we're in Oregon. Everybody else is east. I don't put bacon on or in anything either, even though it yields a lot of flavor. I like it too much, so I eat it on the side. That's an intense flavor. Eating it on the side, I'm not going to eat nearly as much, and I get a whole lot more satisfaction out of a lot less calories. These are two strategies that have worked really well for me with those two foods. You might try the same thing with, you know, avocados, for example, or I wouldn't put mayonnaise on the side, but putting it on something, we tend to not taste it directly, so we tend to use a little bit more than we think we need to, so we can actually taste that flavor when really it's just there to kind of provide some moisture. Okay, and this one kills me. Is this really an important function of fat in modern life? Any of you out there running around naked? No? Darn. All right, not so much. It is important. We do have this storage capacity for that on purpose. So what do you need to do with fat? Well, if you have a heart health risk in your life, it's probably a good idea to put your focus on unsaturated fats, preferably polyunsaturated fats. You don't have to worry about this too much. Really, if that is a risk factor for you in your life, talk to me about it after we're done. But it is a good idea to try to limit your saturated fat intake. Notice I said limit, not eliminate. You do still need to take in some saturated fats because they're your best source of essential fatty acids. You hear in the news and in the advertisements about omega-3 fatty acids and omega-6 fatty acids and all this other stuff. Those are things that you get within the spectrum of essential fatty acids. Primarily, we're getting those from animal sources, not exclusively, but primarily. It's just an easy way. If you don't just eliminate saturated fats, you're probably going to get sufficient amounts of those. Now, if there's a familial history of heart disease, maybe it's a good idea to think about something like a fish oil supplement or some sort of an omega-3 supplement. There's not really a good case to be made for omega-6 yet, but they're looking at it. Questions about that? Okay, fine, be that way. So, about 20% of your calories from fat. I know it says 10 to 30. I got to give you a range because that's what the data talks about, but about 20% is a good spot to shoot for. It's probably enough to keep you satisfied, keep your energy high, keep your cravings under control, slow down digestion, give you all those essential nutrients without being calorie packed. Because remember, fat-rich foods don't take up much space. Remember that ounce of cheese? They don't take up much space. So the higher the percentage of calories in your diet coming from fat, the less you get to chew. The smaller that food is on the plate, so it takes up less room in the stomach.